Hi, welcome back. This is Charlie. We are getting ready to work on the signature for the left inside panel. So what I've got created here, if I can get it apart, is there's going to be a center belly band and you're going to be able to do some tucks on both sides. Now I've taken a gold strip, a red strip, because there was a little bit of that left over, and then this strip, which came off of that major working piece that we started on when we did the front of the album. This was one of the pieces left. It's supposed to lay this way because of the direction, but I am going to lay it this way. So the ball is sideways. Big deal. But I needed the red because there's such a big gap here, too much gold for my liking. So I wanted to put in a little bit of red so that it had the little bit of the gold on each side and not a massive amount. So it's going to look like this. Ran tape down the center of the gold. So then when we center this, then we'll create the two tucks on both sides. This piece here measures at 8 3/4 across, and it measures 8 7/8 in its height. Now I will also show you what I did. I went through and I put a 3/8 strip of paper, and I covered my gusset. 3/8 strip of paper on all the pages. These are my guidelines to make sure that my signature is not going to encroach here into the gusset, and then on these pages I don't want it to encroach here on these gussets. So it will sit in here about like so. It also tells me I've got about this much room, so as I build, we're going to be adding paper to the end. This will probably shift a little bit more this way, leaving me with somewhere around about 1/4 of an inch. And that's what I want to see, so that when these fold over, this one's not here, and on the future ones, we're not going to be laying on top of this seam and creating a problem when these bend over. All right? So that's what I do. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get this all assembled. And then we can move on to the flaps. Now I don't want to get glue on my work here, so I'm gonna, okay, I need to pull that down just a little bit. There we go. Make sure I got that inked. And you can, if you want, you can use the reverse side of this. There are also other scraps that we've created so far that you could use any one of those. And this is going to need to come up. But I just really like the color on this. Now I went and found as close to my center as I could. So my center is sitting at 4 3/8. So from one side or the other, measure in 4 3/8. And then when you remove the tape, The tape is going to be on the 4 3/8. And I'm going to turn this upside down so that I can see where my tape is. I know that sounds silly, but I can't see where the tape is if I look at it from that direction. But now I'm going to kind of try and level this out just a little bit. So then you have a tuck, and you can get a fairly decent sized photo tucked in here. You can also put photos on both sides, and then you can tuck some brief memo or special event over the top of them. Okay? Now let's go to the first set of flaps. Oops. I hold everything together with these little paper clips so that I'll remember what goes with what. I know that's sounds weird, but it is what I do. Okay. All right, so this first flap, the intent is, if I did this right, the intent is not to cover this. So when these two flaps close, I want to be able to see this through the center of them. So the first flap is going to measure at 4 3/8 across, and then you're going to have a 1/2 inch score. And then come right up to that 1/2 inch score line. All right, and then I'm going to kind of take this one apart, and we're going to add this one in. And I'm going to try and keep everything in order. So again, same measurements for this one. Okay, so on the outside, let's go there first. We're going to have, out of the patterns, we're going to take this black. And as you can see, this becomes a striking color contrast with the black. But then I took a piece of gold stripe, a strip, and then a strip of the green stripe. I will get this out eventually. And then use the larger stickers out of the sticker sheet and backed it on some cardstock, and it's just going to come right up here, and the same on this side. Now, I am only going to put tape on the outside, so if you want to come in here with the tuck, you can. Otherwise, you've got your photo, and you can put a photo. Let me show you here. Give me 2 seconds. You can put a photo right over the top of this green stripe. So the stripe is there just to help break this up. It's not intended to prevent you from doing anything further with decorating the page. So let's put these down. Got a big old glue glob there. And I've rounded my corners. I forgot to tell you that. I'm so sorry. I am using a 1/2 inch corner round. Kind of gives it a softer look. And we're going to come in just about 3/4 of an inch, 5/8 of an inch. And then I'm just going to run one strip of tape down this side. Oh, I'm going to have to swap these because I put it on the wrong side. It needs to be on this side. Not sure how I did that, but I've been doing strange things lately. All right, now I'm going to come in just about 1/4 of an inch off the edge. Come down a little bit, about 1/4 of an inch. That way you can kind of see this continue through. And then you have a tuck, and you've got a spot for photos. So now we'll do the same for this side. That is creating a bit of a buildup. I wonder if that's going to be an effective tuck. Oh yeah. Yeah, I was worrying for nothing. Okay, so now I just really want to break up this black. And this seemed like a good logical choice. And then we'll put this on. Come down a little bit, about 1/4 of an inch in. And now the outside of these are done. Now we're going to work on the inside. I usually start with the inside, but I wanted to show you why I was keeping these short, because I just think, like, again, I think that's a good visual. Okay, now we're going to this patterned paper. The reverse side is one of the sheets where you have some cutout cards. But I wanted to use this in here. So we'll go ahead and get this in. And as far as for cutting, I just trimmed a cut. I know somebody's going to ask the question, well, how big are these pieces? They're as big as you want them to be. If you want to cover this entire gold panel, go ahead. But if you want to see just a slight gold edge, which is what I do, I usually stick with about 1/16 of an edge all the way around. Sometimes I go to a full 1/8, but absolutely nothing more than that on my builds. Now, what you do is entirely up to your vision, what you want to see, what makes your eye pleasing. Personally, I think the cardstock should be in the background, not something that immediately draws your eyeball. What is that? That's glue. The only thing you need to keep in mind when you're measuring these on a cut to fit is that you've got this score line here, and you want this paper to stay to the left or to the right, depending upon which panel you're working on. Now up here in the corner, I'm taking some of the ephemera cards, this postage stamps, I mean, and I'm putting them, I'm going to put them in the center because I don't want the, nope, I'm going to put them out here. Oh, I'll show you why. Put them out here. Because then we're going to add a little flower up here. And then down here on the bottom, I cut a square piece that was 3 by 3, and then cut the pattern that was 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, and I've cut them both on the diagonal. Now, one diagonal will go up like this, and then the other diagonal will come in like this, where it's going sideways, and I want them both to go in the same direction, so I had to cut 2 pieces. So this will fit down here just in front of that gusset. And I took some stickers off the sticker sheet just to kind of add a bit of color, and I've put them on there. And we're going to create a tuck down here. These are more for, I don't want, well, if I put it, here's my dilemma. If I put this here, it's more visible to me, I think. And then the flower. I'm not intending to do anything else with this. This is not going to be a tuck. Now, it seems like if I put it over here, I don't see as much because the flower is then covering it. So whichever works for you, I'm liking it more here. What I want to prevent is this sitting anywhere near this gusset, because then it will create a bulge. So I want this more in the center, and with the way you look at these flaps, it just seems to me that it looks better to put it here with the flower in the center than to flip sides. But you do what you want to do, what's going to work best for you. So I think I'm going to stick with this plan. I'm going to glue these on. I hope my babbling made sense. And I didn't cut the square pieces much larger than the stamp itself. I just wanted to cover the in-between pieces of the stamp design. And you don't have to put it on cardstock anyway. So up here in the corner, just to help break up this pattern, and then we're going to put this here. It's still going to create a lift in the flap because the flower centers are going to be a bit on the high side. Whoops, what am I doing? I have my dog with me. She's an English bulldog, and I forgot she was in here. She just let out a great big, heavy sigh. Kind of startled me there. Okay, so then when you close these, they don't create that much of a problem. It's closing just fine. Okay, so these are going to go down here in the corners just in front of the score mark. And I think I've got some 1/8 of an inch tape still, that I think that's what I'm going to use on these edges so that the pocket is a little bit deeper than it would be than if I use 1/4 inch. Because at 1/4 inch, you're ultimately taking away a 1/2 inch here for the pocket. And I think I'm just going to use an 1/8 tape. I didn't lay that down very good, so I'm just going to roll it underneath there. Now I am bringing it all the way to the bottom. I don't want to see 2 seams down here, so I'm creating just one. Now as for your sticker embellishments, you can pull off and use whatever you want. I just used the, they look like a holly berry. I just wanted something that had a little bit of color to break up that black. But you could use whatever, like I said, you've got some scraps there. When you go to make those, you can use whatever color you want to complement that. Okay, so that is the completion of those 2 flaps. Now we're going to get to the outer flaps. Okay, so these, you're going to cut them. You're going to want 2 of them. And they're going to measure in at 5 inches across by the 8 7/8 in the height. And I apologize, I didn't provide that before, but I would assume that if you knew this was 8 7/8, that all your panels would be 8 7/8. On this one, you're going to score it at 1/2, and then you're going to score it at 5/8 because you want to be able to wrap around this previous page, and then I want your gusset to be here flat on the outside. Sometimes it helps to just go ahead and wrap it, get it placed where it needs to be. Then pull your tape, and then it's just a matter of laying it over. Okay, now I've rounded my corners. and I have a nice fit here. Okay, so on the inside, we're going to create a belly band. So using a pattern paper, this red holly paper, and then some of your scraps. We're going to create a belly band. And it will still give you a spot to put 2 photos down if you wish to do that. I'm going to play with a couple of the brass trinkets, and I'm going to place a deer here, and then I'm going to place the dove on this side. It doesn't matter which side you put them on, but I'm going to use a deer and a dove. Okay, let's get these in, and again, I've rounded these. Again, it's a 1/2 inch corner round. Should be okay. It's fine. Okay, so you can cut the width of your belly band to whatever inches you want, but mine's at 2.5. And I'm going from this side to this side. And I do want to try to find my center, so where would my center be on this if it is 8 7/8, so we're at 4. I know there's a way to use this ruler to find the center, and I'm slowly trying to figure it out. So if I put where I think center is, and I have 1 inch, and I need to bring it down a little bit so that there's the same equal amount. Ta-da. So I think here's my center. We'll know when I put this down. So then I want the center of this to ride right there. Okay, let's see how I did, because I can pull those up real quick if I need to move them. So that's about 3 1/4, and that's about 3 1/8. So I'm only 1/8 of an inch off. I'm going to leave it. This is from one of those sheets where you cut out for your cards, and it's just one of the sayings. It's Merry Bright. But it's colorful, and it will help to break up some of this pattern. That's what I'm using to cover the center. So then when I put this down, I want this piece of paper to line up with this one, so that it just seems things are symmetrical a little bit. So then here's our belly band. But you can still get a fairly decent sized photo in there. All right, I am going to come over here and finish this one. So I need to be roughly 3 and... oh, I need to put this down first. Silly me. the edge a little bit there. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on this. Whoops. Sorry for the bang. Okay, now I want to be about 3 and so it looks like, yep, so 3 and 1/8. And because I don't want to measure that again, I'm just going to hold it in place and then remove my tape. All right, now the deer and the dove. And a little bit of glossy accents. Pierce the hole. So I do not know why. This is going to be a trick because there's not much surface on this dove to apply this glue to. So it's mostly going to be on the little tree, some dabs around. I've got such big fat fingers. Oh, come on. All right. There we go. I store my glossy accents upside down, but for the life of me, it still clogs up. It doesn't. I don't know. Okay, we are now done with the entire insides. Now we're going to play with the outsides. And I've gone back and forth. Okay, I've got a situation here. I have to push. Oh, you see, I laid this on lopsided, and this went inside my gusset, which is making it difficult for it to lie flat. So I was not paying any attention to that. So I need to pull this up. The tape is wanting to stick to me instead of the paper. Well, come on. So I need to be just in front of that gusset and level with the edge. There we go. The importance of paying attention. Oh, so much better. It's incredible what a small little detail like that, how it will derail your project. Okay, so this paper has two sides to it. You can use whichever side you want, but after careful consideration and playing, I wanted to use this side. And then we have a lot of stuff here. Now, I'm taking the word celebrate, which is one of your cutouts, and I'm putting it onto some cardstock. I've already placed my magnet because this is going to be our closure. So we're going to center this on here, and then the magnet, this is going to get glued down over here, and then the magnet's going to help keep this closed. From your ephemera, I'll say it, I took one of these cards. I was very liberal with some red gems on where the holly bee berries are. And I did the same over here. And I'm taking one of my red flowers and adding it on. And this is for journaling. And if you want, I am going to tack it down just here, here, and here. And then you can tuck behind it if you so choose to, a nice small dedication item. Over here, I'm tacking down these ends so that this too as well becomes a tuck. Let's go ahead and finish putting this on. I did mount this on some very thin cardboard that I have. I mean, it's really thin. It came in a package of an order that I had, and they used it to help keep things squared up. Real thin, but it works super great for adding some sturdiness to something like this so that when you're using it as a tab opening, it's got some strength to it because the cardstock just does not provide enough to do that. So before I can do anything, I need to center this and I'm using this for my visual center. I'm going to come in, it looks like about 1.5 inches, about 1.5 inches, and the L becomes my center. And then we're going to just slide this little guy off. Now I can tape this on. This one I can glue down because I do not have a magnet involved. Okay, and I'm just going to put a little bit of tape to kind of help secure that magnet where it needs to remain. Okay, I have too much paper. I want to see that gold edge on both sides, and I'm not. So I'm going to take just a smidgen off. See, a smidgen, not very much. And then I'm going to look at this. I could take a little bit off, but I'm okay with that. Just want to see a little bit of gold at least on all the edges. Okay. All right, so we're going to now glue this piece onto that gold cardstock. Just thought of something. It needs to go this way because I don't want the magnet to be seen, which means I need to turn this over. So I want this. Shoot, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So hopefully that's center. I'm beating up my seems like it's still going to be and then I want to cover the battery. The battery, what was I just thinking? My goodness sakes, it reminds me of those silver disc batteries you put in stuff. What I don't want to see is the magnet on the outside. I want that magnet hidden so that when this opens up, all you're seeing is the back side to this. Now, you can cover the back side, but I don't know if you will be able to maintain the connection strength. Okay, what just happened here? Oh, Jimini's Louise, Charlie, what are you doing? Come on. I don't know what I did wrong here. Wow. That was a trip. Go ahead and get some fresh glue in here. Come on. I am really struggling with this. And it should just be an absolute easy concept, but for some reason, okay. Ta-da. And I'm a little bit that way, but it is what it is. I'm not tearing it apart. Okay, so this is where I want to glue down, is from here to here. Using my fingers, I pinch them where I don't want glue to go. Okay, is this going to come up? Separate away, please. What is going on down here? Well, for Pete's sake. All right, so here's a suggestion. I don't know if it's going to be a good one or not. So you have this piece over here. You can just leave it the way it is, and you can come over here. Now, if you want, take a pattern piece so you can kind of cover up this magnet a little bit. I've brutalized mine so it's showing up really bold. Just put a little piece over there, hold it in place, and see if you still have the same magnet connection. If you do, then go ahead and cover it. I might do that, but I'll do that later. We got to move forward. Got to move on. All right, so I've been very generous with some red glittered gems, and now I'm going to glue in my poinsettia. This is going to come down here. And then this poinsettia is going to come in right here. I put the glue on the wrong end. See, I built this last night, and I obviously was not thinking. I was a little bit tired. So I want the poinsettia on the bottom, so we're going to be tacking these 4 points. And at this point, I'm just going to use some glue because they're small enough. So I want this one, this point, and this point. Because the beads are supposed to be up on the top. Okay, so then you can come, I'm going to hold this down, then you can come in here and you've got a nice little tuck. Okay, and then this one. Ta-da, I have the tape on the right end. May wonders never cease. And I just kind of want to put this on an off canter a little bit down here at the bottom. So then you can come in here, tuck something in behind, and then you've got that tuck there. All right? So there you have it. This is your signature build. So you've got your tuck on the inside here. You've got some pockets. You've got a little embellishment up here at the top. And then we've got some tucks right here. And then you've got your belly band here. And there you go. I'll see you on the next build. Bye-bye.